So today we're going to go over how to solve triangles that have three triangles built into them. So these are called our left, right, and whole triangles. There's three triangles in this picture. So my yellow one is triangle ACD. So that's yellow, that's ACD, that's triangle 1. I'm going to label that my left triangle. Triangle 2 now is CDB. So that's my pink triangle. Lastly, if I look, I have a big triangle here, so ACB, and that's referring to both the left and the right put together. So there's three different triangles in here. I have a left, a right triangle, and then I have a whole triangle. So what I do now is I'm going to make a chart to help me understand what side lengths go with triangle and how I can set up a proportion. So over here I'm going to draw a nice chart. So you're going to have 4 columns and 4 rows. On the top, that's where your triangles are going to go. So we have a left triangle, a right triangle, and a whole triangle. So my left was my orange, so I'm just going to color coordinate it. The left, right, and whole. Now, if I look at these triangles, notice how there's a right angle in each triangle. So this box right here symbolizes a right angle. A right angle has a degree of 90 degrees, remember. So if that side's right and this is on a straight line here, that means that this side also has to be a right angle. So there's a right angle in my left triangle. There's a right angle in my right triangle. Now in the whole green one, if I look, there's a right angle up here. So all of angle C is a right angle. So this first column is going to refer to your angles. So far, we know there's a 90-degree angle in each triangle. So I'm going to put 90 on the bottom. What we have to figure out is, well, what angles correspond to each other? The left triangle, the right triangle, and the whole triangle will always be similar. There's some angles that just correspond to each other. So our job is now to just come up with a number. So if I look at my left triangle, a triangle has to add up to 180 degrees. So if this is 90 degrees, that means that this angle here and this angle up here have to add up to 90 because 180 minus 90 is just 90. So you can pick any number between 0 and 90. So I'm going to pick, let's say, 20. So if I say angle A is 20 and I'm just focusing on my left triangle, that means this top angle has to be 70 in order to make my left triangle a triangle. 70 plus 20 plus 90 would give me 180. But if this side's 70 and I want to figure out this angle, well, we discussed that angle C is 90 degrees. So if this side's 70, then this angle has to be 20 because 70 plus 20 is 90 degrees. Then if I look at my right triangle, I have 20, I have 90, which makes this bottom angle 70 degrees. So if you notice, the right, the left, and the whole triangle all have measures of 20, 70, and 90. Like I said, you can pick any angle. So I'm going to figure or fill in 20, 70, and then I already have my 90. So now it's about filling in this chart here. So in the chart now, underneath your left, right, and whole, and across from your angle measures, are the side lengths. So if I look, I'm focusing only on my yellow triangle right now. Here's 20 degrees. What I do is I look across from where 20 degrees is. So across from 20 degrees is my side length X. So I'm going to put X next to 20 in my left triangle column. Then I'm going to go on to 70. So in my left triangle only, across from 70 degrees is the measure of 9. So that side length is 9. So I'm going to put 9 in that box. Lastly, in my left triangle, I'm looking across my right angle now, and notice how there's no side length there. So I really can't fill it in, so I'm going to put a blank spot, meaning that there's no value there and I cannot use that side. We're going to do that same thing in our right triangle now. So across from 20 degrees here is 4. So here I'm going to put 4. Then if I look at my right triangle again, across from 70 is the value x. So I can put x there. And then in my right triangle across from 90 degrees, if I look, it's side CB. On side CB, there's no measure, so I'm going to put another blank. Okay, so I know that now I have to do my whole triangle. So in my whole triangle, this might be tricky to see. So I'm going to erase all this extra stuff. And then I'm going to focus on my green triangle. So now it's kind of tough to see, so I'm going to help us out here. And I'm going to erase this middle line because it wasn't in my whole triangle. Now, if I'm looking at this, I see that I have a couple 20s and a couple 70s. So I'm wondering what one is the right 20. Well, in this green triangle here, so this whole triangle, we're looking for a whole angle of 20. So if I focus on this 20, it's not covering all of angle C. So I can't use that as my 20. Instead, I have to use angle A. So if I look across all the way from angle A, I get CB, and I know there's nothing on there. There's no number, there's no X, so I just put nothing. Now I have to look for 70. Well, here's 70, but that's only some of my angle C. However, angle B is all of 70, so I look across from angle B. There's nothing on that side either, so I put a little dash. Lastly, earlier we said that angle C was my right angle, so I look across from angle C and I get this. So notice that across from angle C is this whole side. So it's not just 9 and it's not just 4. Instead, it's 9 plus 4, which is 13. So this would be 13. So that's how we fill in our chart. The last thing now is to solve for x. So the rule is you need to pick 2 triangles with at least 2 columns filled in. So here I have x and 9 filled in, and in my right triangle I have 4 and x filled in. I can't use my whole triangle because there's a blank here and a blank here, and that's not 2 side lengths. So I have to use my left triangle and my right triangle. So the hardest part about this is just setting up this chart. From here, it's pretty simple. Now what we do is we take our chart. I saw I had x over 9, and then I have 4 over x. All we do is we set them equal to each other. So now I can solve for x. So I cross multiply. X times x would give me x squared. And then 9 times 4 would give me 36. Now to get rid of a square, we have to do this square root. So the square root of x squared is just x. Square root of 36 is just 6. And that's how I end up finding x. So the toughest part about this is just setting up this chart. And then from there it gives you your proportion, and then you can solve for x.